Hi, welcome to Simply HR channel. In the series of selection methods and topic concerned with the process of employee selection, we have been discussing about various selection tools. In that connection, in today's session, we are discussing about psychological test as an employee selection method. So, why psychological test is conducted? What's the concept of psychological test? That is what is the first part of this slide. And the second part of the slide says about the elements involved in a selection test. Let's see the concept first, then the elements. Generally, a psychological test is a test in an objective and standardized focus. Psychological test generally observes the psychology, tests the psychology, assesses the psychology, and derives at various results about a particular person's or the subject's psychological tendencies. That is where we are using psychological test for a employee selection. So when we use psychological test, what happens actually? There is an objective and standardized testing happening. Objective means whoever conducts the test is not bound to self-interest, self-likes and dislikes, or he or she is not bound to the color, creed, caste, background, the gender, the age, and all such individual specifications. We are not bound to all those specifications. We are scientific. We are neutral. That is where the objectivism is ensured. Then standardized measure of a sample behavior. Yes, standardized measure means we are not checking the psychological tendencies of the employees haphazardly. We are checking with the standard methods, measures and administration of tools. So, by doing a psychological test or by administering a psychological test on an employee or an applicant, what are we expected to do is to be objective and to use standardized measures for what? To study the sample of behavior of a particular individual, of the applicant, in order to forecast his future behavior based on this result. You would have come across some experiments. Your parent, if you are a 10 or 15 years old individual, let us consider one of your parents is calling you and giving you money, saying go and get something from the shop. That might cost you maybe 30 rupees in Indian money. He or she gives you, maybe your father or mother gives you 50 rupees. You are getting that particular thing from the shop and getting a receipt for it, and the balance money 20 rupees should come to your hand, and the thing which is expected with receipt and the balance money should be handed over to your parent, isn't it? If you do this is a sample of behavior for time being. After some time, maybe 1 week later or 10 days later or a month later, same father or mother who sent you today is going to send you for another shopping. There also you are given money more than enough and you are asked to buy something and bring back the balance money. You are bringing maybe 10 rupees short of balance. Immediately the parent will have a doubt about what has happened to the 10 rupees. He or she will check with you. What was the cost of the thing? It costed 30 rupees. What did I give you? 50 rupees. Then how much should be the balance? 20 rupees. How much did you bring? 10 rupees. What happened to the other 10 rupees? The shopkeeper didn't have enough change, so he told me to come back next time. That's a valid, genuine reason, isn't it? Or you may also tell, I wanted a chocolate of 10 rupees worth. I bought it and ate it. You can tell this also, if this is the truth. You can also say, no, there is no need for 20 rupees balance. Only 10 rupees will come as balance. Then again they will repeat the question. What was the money given? What is the cost of the thing? And what should be the balance? And how come you say 10 rupees is the balance? All the three behaviors you can observe in the second instance. If it was a genuine behavior, parent will acknowledge you. I know you. Last time also you did. You went to the shop something and you brought the balance required without any deviation. But still I had a doubt whether the shopkeeper has checked you, tricked you, so that I can check with him. That is why I asked. So I don't doubt you, but I doubted the shopkeeper. This is a kind of treatment the parent gives to the children. Why? Because past behavior is a sample always with which we test the people's present behavior and forecast their future behavior. Once if you gain the confidence of one person, then that creates a base for our assessment in future. That is where the psychological test also helps a HR to form a basis about us, to form a concrete about our behavior. That is where the psychological test gets a significant role in our selection into a job, because it is objective and it is based on standardized measures on a sample behavior. Based on the results out of these psychological tests, the HR clearly makes a background of your personality, clearly makes a background for your future performance. Many times these tests are proven satisfactory. That is why psychological tests are being part of employee selection. Now, what all can comprise a psychological testing? Psychological testing, if you are coming across as a candidate or an employee, proposed employee, you might come across any type of the following assessments. It need not be named as psychological test, but it can be named in any of these assessments. If you are a party to all these, any of these assessments, you can very well conclude that you had been exposed to a psychological test. That's the idea here. So what are those elements of psychological testing? First element which we are talking about here is personal and emotional intelligence assessment. Personal intelligence means commonly expected sense of application, sense of behavioral applications. Emotional intelligence means emotionally expected sense of applications. So in terms of any context, any situation, we are commonly expected to behave in a such a way, that is personal intelligence. With special reference to emotions, we are supposed to behave in such a way, that is emotional intelligence. In the context where we were discussing about various tools of selection method, we were talking about emotional intelligence assessment. What did we discuss on that day? Emotional intelligence is of 4 quadrants. First quadrant is self-awareness, second quadrant is social awareness, then third quadrant is self-management, fourth quadrant is relationship management. So if we are found okay with self-management, self-awareness, social management, self-management, relationship management, then we are found absolutely okay with our emotional management. So how our emotions are administered and managed by ourselves also proves our emotional intelligence. So, any test that tests your common intelligence IQ or emotional intelligence quotient, that is also a part of psychological test. Next, personality assessment. We'll have a number of personality features. Any individual can be a basket of personality features. Which personality feature is predominantly leading our behavior? Which personality feature is predominantly qualifying us as a human being? That is what we assess in terms of personality assessment. Some take an example, an employee who is applied for a position, maybe it is for marketing professional, marketing executive. It's a consumable FMCG, fast moving consumer goods company in which you are a HR and you have posted a classified for a marketing executive position and an application has come to you. You are assessing that person with the personality assessment test. What's a kind of personality you might need for an FMCG marketing? Social kind of personality. Proficient in communication. Proficient in understanding people's behavior. Proficient in understanding people's needs, wants, desires. Isn't it? Easily approachable. By look, you should show charm. You should show passion for the selling profession, marketing profession. You should show self driven motivation in doing the job. These are certain personality features expected for a marketing professional or executive. In order to test these kind of features, if some test is administered on you or some tool is administered on you, that is also a part of psychological test. Because all our psychology is based on the type of personality that we uphold. The personality that we uphold speaks about how we would behave in a context. That's why personality assessment is a part of psychological testing. Next, personal and social abilities assessment. In terms of the same profession, same example, marketing executive, he might be good at the field. He might be very good in handling customers. On the other side, in his office, in the company where he is employed, he should be possessing certain abilities to handle his team members. If he is a leader of the team, he needs certain skills, certain abilities. If he is a part of a team, not a leader, then he might need some other abilities and skills. For example, if he is a team leader, he should be able to take work from the team members. Or if it's going to be no senior junior level of team, all are equals team, then what happens? He should be able to get things done without any authority, without showing a upper hand. So he should be a team player, not a leader. On the other side, if it is a superior subordinate kind of a team wherein you are superior and the other people are subordinates, then the superior should have leadership qualities. Take things done by orders, commanding power, nego sorry, delegation. You should be the particular person in the leader position should be able to delegate things So these are internally required abilities. Either they may be personal abilities or social abilities. How we get along with our team members, how we get along with the opposite gender. That's a big issue nowadays. Challenges of HR. It's a topmost listed challenge of a HR. Dealing with people in opposite genders, cross genders, no genders. So these kind of abilities, how do you show in this context of your profile, in the position that you are proposed for a vacancy? How would you work in terms of this personal and social abilities? That is what is a part of assessment, which is again a psychological test. Next, a special aptitude test. There are certain profiles where not only the common abilities and skills required, but also special aptitude is required, namely accounts department, statistical department, front office. Front office requires not only common communication but also proficiency in communication. Proficiency in not only one language but also multiple languages, preferable languages of the business. If it's an accounts department, all the accounting skills, accounting principles, accounting techniques, tools, documents, registers, methods are the special aptitudes required for an accountant or someone who is going to propose for a accountancy department vacancy. If it's a statistical department, all the statistical tools, techniques, numbers, and their connections to each other in terms of different tool applications are the special aptitude required to work in a statistical position, statistical department, isn't it? So those kind of aptitudes are also assessed, means they also require certain psychological nature. They also require certain specific mental feature, emotional feature, behavioral feature. That's why special aptitude assessment also comes under psychological test. Next test as an element of psychological test is discussed here as interest assessment. Interest assessment will help the HR in order to decide futuristic promotable candidates in terms of career management and succession management. If you want to recruit an employee, always have a focus for his growth and development in the same organization for another 5 to 10 years. That is when you are concerned of the career of the particular individual. The employee also is concerned of the organization wherein you are taking care of his career for further 5 to 10 years. So in those contexts, an HR will always be interested in knowing what all the interests this employee has. Whether he is interested only in what he is proficient enough, only in what he is qualified, only in what he is experienced, or can he be used for any other profession, profile, levels, positions, departments, locations? In all these contexts, it is better to know the interest of the employee at the entry point itself, so that it will be a pool of information that we be collecting and using it appropriately when there is a decision to be taken in terms of promotions, transfers, successions. That's where the interest assessment takes an important role, and that too, it talks about individual likes and dislikes, why he likes, why he doesn't like, all these aspects of his behavior and psychology. That's why it's a part of psychological test. Next, intelligent quotient or achievement test. IQ level. Every profession, every decision, every levels of positions needs certain IQ level. What is your IQ level, intelligent quotient level at that position, for that position? Whether your IQ required as defined, whether you possess IQ as defined, or you are over and above the requirement, All this can be tested with IQ tests, and it also speaks about achievement tests. Why do we need achievements of an employee or a candidate? Simply because he is goal oriented. To know whether he is goal oriented, target oriented, time bound, he has any aim in his life. Why? Why should we know whether the candidate is aimless or aimful? Whether the candidate is ambitious, whether the candidate is motivated, whether the candidate is future oriented, goal oriented. Why? Because simply to retain him. When you come to know an employee or applicant who is goal oriented, your half of motivation challenges are ruled out. Already he is goal oriented. So you will have to just trigger him saying, you have this motivation? Do you really need to achieve this? Then do it. That kind of a challenge is halfway you are crossed if your employee has certain achievements in the past. Because as we very well defined the psychological tests for future, past behavior based future tester, we are actually able to coming to know that this person is motivated, this person is goal oriented, this person is directed towards something to achieve. So when you are asked what is your aim, what is your motivation, what is your career goal, where would you like to see yourself from now after 5 years, all these questions focus on the same thing, that is whether you are goal oriented personality or not. That's again a psychological aspect. Then attitude test. Attitude test means how do you look at things? Whether you are always driven by negative thoughts or positive thoughts, or you don't have any thought. Everything is neutral. Like a saint. Whatever goes up and down, I don't bother. Whatever goes left or right, I am least bothered. My salary is credited after 30 days. I'll just be keeping quiet. Whether who works with me, whether I will be here for another 1 year or 2 year, what subject is going to be given to me, if it is a teacher, if it's a mechanic, who's going to be my supervisor, what is the machine that we are going to work with, what is the tool that we are going to work with for another 1 year. Is there any improvement in the field? Is there anything that I have to learn or update? Nothing we will be bothered. That's a pure attitudinal problem. So what happens if you have a huge attitudinal problematic persons? You can very well assure that you are going to be closed down soon. You are going to be no more in the field because the attitudes of your people are not worthy, not noteworthy, not worthy. So, in order to know that whether I have motivated people, positively, attitudinally grown people, whether I have good people, those who have confidence in doing things. In order to know all these things, what you test is attitude. The problem with attitude is if you have a set of wrongly attitude, wrong attitudes in your organization, you are going to attract wrong people. Again and again, wrong people. If your majority of your employees' attitude is right, they are going to attract right people. So what happens? With one or two instances of recruiting a wrong attitude, you are actually spoiling the environment, not knowing that he is going to spoil the environment. You are going to recruit him and mingle with the mainstream. So there, the challenge of HR is choose not an employee, choose a right attitude. In this context, let me give you an example. Recently, some 7 organizations, Deloitte, Ernst and Young, these kind of organizations have come to a pact. They have signed a pact saying, we are ready to recruit if people are not skilled or qualified also, if their attitude is right. That means one. Nowadays, organizations are not looking for what you know, what you have, but what you see, what you perceive, what you show. If the attitude is clear, the skill and abilities can be trained and given. But if the attitude is wrong, how much are qualified, skilled, or trained? Also, the attitude spoils all of them. That is where the attitudinal test also is part of an employee selection, and that is more or less a psychological test. Next, projective test. There are certain aspects wherein you are supposed to know certain things indirectly about the applicant, which you can't directly ask them with a tool. Straight away saying, I am going to just check your honesty, I am going to check your integrity, I am going to check your corruption oriented tendencies. Can you ask directly all these questions? No. For these kind of sensitive or sensational issues, but still we need to have information regarding those aspects, means we will be applying certain tools which are projective in nature. They don't look like you are going to test this aspect straight away directly. No. Out of the results, we will come to arrive at a conclusion, and we will be able to come to a decision. Those kind of tests are also highly of psychological nature. The element which is listed here is biographical information blank. Biographical information blank is actually one form of a resume or application blank that the company gives to the employee or applicant in order to arrive at certain biographical data, in which not only your educational qualification, experience, or profile related details are required, but also psychological details, emotions related details, personality related details, attitude related details, interest related, special aptitude related. All these aspects will be covered in one application blank, and the applicant will be asked to fill in and give it back to the organization. So that kind of a format, an application tool can be administered. That also is a part of psychological testing. So with these shorter notes, let me conclude the session. Let's see in the next session. Bye. Thank you.